As we all know by now, Toyota has been upping its game with rebadged Maruti Suzuki cars. We have seen the Glanza, the Rumio, the High Rider that account to almost 44% of the total sales. And now we have the fourth and the latest offering. This one is called the Toyota Urban Cruiser Taisor. We will tell you 5 of its greatest strengths and 2 aspects that you need to consider before making the decision of buying this Toyota. Now let's say that brand loyalty is of great priority to you and you have zeroed down on a hatchback, which is, let's say, the Toyota Glanza. We would suggest that spend some more and get the Taisor. The exact difference is approximately 1 lakh rupees spec to spec, and for that cost you get a much more stylish, modern looking SUV. The design is well balanced and it gets extra appeal with that extra plastic cladding, chunky skid plates, roof rails, and it's definitely a worthy upgrade over the normal hatchback looking Glanza. Now the Taisor's cabin is not just spacious, but it's a tech haven, and there are some features that really stand out. For example, the 360-degree camera, it makes parking in tight spots very convenient and even maneuvering in narrow lanes very easy. Then you have the colored heads-up display. The heads-up display throws up information such as the RPM meter, the speed, the time, and even the turn-by-turn navigation. You can also adjust the display screens with 3 modes, and there's an option to adjust the brightness and the display position. The third feature that is really useful is the wireless charging pad here. Now we're not being greedy, but there are some features that we really think should have been included. For example, an electric sunroof, and then there are cooled seats and even a digital instrument cluster. These are some features that we have already started to see in some of the smaller cars and should have made to this crossover as well. Besides this, the Taisor crossover comes equipped with the usual features. This includes rear AC vents, a sliding center armrest, a 9-inch touchscreen infotainment system, split rear seats, Type-C USB charging ports, cruise control, tilt and telescopic adjustment for the steering wheel, and UV cut window glasses. On the safety features, 6 airbags, hill hold assist, rear parking sensors, rear view camera, and auto dimming IRVM make the list complete and good. The Taisor can be had with 2 engine options and 2 gearbox choices. The first one is the 1.2 litre NA petrol engine. That's a 4-cylinder unit which puts out 89 bhp and 113 Newton meters of torque. But what we are focusing on today is the other engine, as the 1 litre turbo petrol engine. It's a 3-cylinder motor that puts out 99 bhp and close to 148 Newton meters of peak torque. Now it does lose out on 1 cylinder and there are very slight vibrations which are barely evident when you drive, but what we want to tell you that this is one of the most smoothest and the most refined engines in its segment, and the main power that's focused mostly in the mid-range. And if we can, and if you can hear this one, I want to make you hear this. It revs freely up to 6000 RPM and it's actually a very good raspy note. Now this 1 litre turbo petrol engine can be either had with a 5-speed manual or what we have today, that's a 6-speed torque converter gearbox. Now this gearbox is tuned more for fuel efficiency than performance, so the gear shifts may be slightly slower, but the shifts themselves, they are very smooth and not close to DCT or CVT, but for a torque converter gearbox, this is extremely smooth. And for those who want more control on the gears, you have a manual mode along with paddle shifters. So what you can do is downshift, hold these revs like we are doing now, and then upshift either using the paddle shifters or the manual mode here. Now despite the sloping roofline of the Taisor, the headroom here for the rear passengers is not really bad. We can easily say that tall passengers of up to 6 feet can easily sit here, and you can accommodate 2 of them, while accommodating the third one would really be a squeeze. And on the safety front, you get headrest for all the 3 passengers and even 3-point seat belts for all the occupants. However, there is one annoyance. Like the Fronx, it also misses out on load sensors. So this one keeps on buzzing even when the seats are empty, and that goes on for an irritating 90 seconds. The Taisor sits on a suspension setup comprising McPherson struts at the front and a torsion beam with coil springs at the rear. It rides on 16-inch alloy wheels, which translates to a ride that prioritizes stability without compromising on comfort. While stiffer than its hatchback sibling, the Glanza, the Taisor avoids being overly harsh. At city speeds, the suspension tackles uneven surfaces and small potholes with ease. Bumps are effectively absorbed, keeping the cabin unsettled and passengers comfortable. This makes the Taisor a great companion for navigating traffic-laden city roads. The Taisor inspires confidence on highways as well. The suspension maintains good straight-line stability, ensuring a comfortable ride even at triple-digit speeds. Now the price difference between the naturally aspirated variants of the Fronx and the Taisor is roughly 25,000 rupees. And as for the turbo petrol variants, the price is exactly the same. So then why go for the Taisor? Well, first of all, the Taisor is not a re-engineered car, but rather a badge engineered car. That means Toyota has not done any mechanical changes to the Taisor, but rather it gives a distinct look because of the styling upgrades. You can see the front fascia, which gets much more like a Toyota Innova grille, the DRLs, which are from the High Rider, and even the tail lamp elements, they are still from the Fronx. What we like though are the new alloy wheel design. So you get a different look from the Fronx, and making its case stronger is the longer warranty. As opposed to Maruti, you get a 1 lakh kilometer and 3 years warranty with the Toyota. And one thing which is very associated with Toyota is its strong brand value. Now coming to what could have been better with the Taisor, where there's nothing wrong with the Taisor, but there's always an alternative. And in this case, there's a better alternative in the same Toyota family. So for example, this particular turbo petrol automatic variant costs 12,88,000 rupees ex-showroom. And for the same price, you can go in for the bigger urban cruiser High Cross. Well, it may not be as well spec'd as this one because you'll be able to get only the S variant, but what you get is the High Cross better road presence, a spacious cabin which can comfortably seat 5, and a powerful 1.5 litre petrol engine. Something which you can definitely consider if you are a Toyota loyalist. Now the engine options and the trim levels of the Taisor don't line up quite perfectly. Now if you want the affordability and the fuel efficiency of the 1.2 NA, then you are stuck with the lower variants. You miss out on all those bells and whistles such as the bigger touchscreen infotainment system, a wireless charging pad, 360-degree camera, heads-up display, and even cruise control. On the other hand, if you crave for the power and performance of the 1 litre turbo, then you're automatically bumped up to the higher variants. It does come loaded with features, but with that you also get an increased price tag. Now it's a bit of a bummer for those who want the best of both the worlds. Now Toyota claims a mileage of 22.8 kmpl for the Taisor. Unfortunately, our test drive today wasn't long enough to conduct a proper real-world mileage test. But since it shares the engine with the Fronx and we have tested the Fronx for the real-world mileage, we feel that the mileage could be very much similar to that of the Fronx. On the city loop, the Fronx turbo manual delivered 14.3 kmpl, and while out on the highway, it delivered 19.1 kmpl. This resulted in a combined fuel efficiency of 15.47 kmpl on the entire test loop. Now it's time to answer the biggest question, which one to buy, the Maruti Suzuki Fronx or the Toyota Taisor? Well, why the Fronx? Well, it's clear. It's Maruti's product, and Maruti is one of the biggest car maker with a great network of sales and service touchpoints. It also gets service points at some of the remotest locations. The second reason to buy the Fronx is the NA variants. It's cheaper by 25,000 than those of the Taisor. And the third one is purely the looks. If you like how the Fronx looks, its color, its DRLs and the grille, then it's the Fronx for you. Now answering the second question, why the Taisor? Well, Toyota is associated with reliability, although it doesn't matter in this case since it's a rebadged model. but it's something with the brand value of Toyota that you would consider. And then adding to that are other points like lesser crowded service centers and even a longer warranty which Toyota offers with the Taisor. The second point is that if you want to go in for the turbo petrol, there is absolutely no price difference between the Fronx and the Taisor. And the third point is the same as the Fronx. If you prefer how the Fronx looks, its sleeker grille, a more sophisticated design and a different one for the alloy wheels, then it's a no-brainer that you like the Taisor. Now to sum it all up, it comes down to 3 points between these two crossovers. First one is the brand value. You choose between Toyota and Maruti Suzuki. Second one is looks. Which one do you like more as a crossover? And the third one is the price between the NA variants. The Maruti is cheaper and the Toyota is a slightly bit expensive at that point. Now which one have you decided, or which one do you like of these two crossovers? The Toyota Taisor or the Maruti Suzuki Fronx? Let us know in the comments below.